welcome to the DIY Photo Organising podcast, focusing on topics to help you with your photo management. I'm Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantal from Photos in Order. Hi, Fiona.
Hello, Chantal.
And hi, Panda. I can hear him in the background.
Yes, that's our beautiful dog barking, saying hello to everybody.
So, today, let's talk about our photo collections. And we have a very tricky question for you guys.
Yes.
How many photos do you really need?
Exactly the million-dollar question in our industry, anyway.
Well,
yes, that's a very good question. Okay, so the way we thought we would break this down in this episode is bringing us all back to our 5 golden rules. And we thought that the best way to answer this is, obviously we've got golden rule number 1, which is backup. So let's assume that we've all got that under control. When we're looking at answering this question of how many photos do you really need, it's important, I guess, to put it into a reference with our golden rule number 2, which is know your why. So why are you organizing your photos? And I guess we can look at answering this question in relation to what you currently have that you're referring to. So some clues that we could get from that is, are we talking about your hub as to how many photos do you really need? Are we talking about if you're creating a photo book as to how many photos do you really need? If you're looking at, this is a collection, say, that you're referring to your photo legacy that you're wanting to leave behind for future generations, how many photos do you really need for that? If you're sharing, if this is about a project that you're doing, say for a video, how many photos do you really need? I think that's a really important topic. Do you agree, Chantal?
I completely agree. And it's not, we can't give you a figure and say, okay, you are 45 years old. The appropriate number for you is to have so and so many photos. We can't say that, of course. So, yes, I think it does come back to the why. And
and what it relates to. And it also could be, are you thinking about, when we say how many photos do you really need, does the thought to you as you're listening go to, say, just on your phone? Because that's, people just sometimes have photos on their phone. What about all of the other photos in their collection? Say that they've got digital is one thing, but then what about all of their printed stuff?
Yeah. And generally,
so it really,
go ahead.
No, you go. Generally,
yeah, generally we all have too many photos. I think it's pretty safe to say that.
Yes, that is a very good general assumption there.
Yeah, it is. But from experience and working with clients, I think we both can say that there are too many photos. It would be good to minimize a little bit.
Yes, we had talked about this topic a little bit in the past, but I think it's good to just focus on this one particular question. How many photos do you really need? So let's go through a few things to consider when choosing which photos to keep or not to keep. And I guess just sort of delving into this little topic a little bit more. What are some of the things that we need to think about, Chantal?
Well, on top of the mind, what comes up is screenshots. We all take tons of screenshots, which are usually a reminder screenshots, a book I want to read, or a recipe, or a screenshot when I've paid something as a receipt or something. They don't need to be in a photo collection. There are exceptions, of course, going through that 2020 COVID year, I took some screenshots along the way of numbers, not every day, but from time to time, with the purpose to add that to the photo yearbook to
Mm.
document that. So there are exceptions, as
Yep.
always, but generally
Yes.
screenshots, they can go, or they could at least live in a different place.
Yep.
Mm,
Definitely.
mm.
Absolutely.
What else have we
And
got?
then we've also got obviously the duplicates.
Mm,
So, and that, if you're thinking about how many photos you really need, for your whole hub or for a photo book, or think of, something like that, duplicates, I'm going to sort of mix in their bursts as well.
mhm,
So these are similar photos. I think it's just, I think it takes a bit of practice, but once you get used to it, just going through those really quickly, or often, can be quite quick.
mhm,
So it's just thinking of that end goal in mind. And that's why this, golden rule number 2 is so important, to always be aware of why you're doing this,
mm,
and just what's the point of deleting your screenshots, even like we were talking about
mm,
before, or removing these duplicates or burst shots. And really, when you look at that end goal in mind, to have a good hub that you can do a search, whether it's to quickly be able to make your photo books, if you want to leave a legacy with some stories behind your photos,
mm.
these shots are just not necessary. So
Mm.
that's on our list of things to consider. Removing those duplicates and bursts.
Yeah. I think the boosts have actually fallen out of fashion a bit, don't you?
I think so. When I think of bursts now, I guess it's more of just similar shots.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, if you have, which is common,
Mm.
if you try and take a group photo,
Oh, yeah.
and you might take five, rather than the click, 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 in a burst,
Yes.
in the typical bursts. Unless sometimes if you've gone to take your photo, like if you're on, if you're turning the volume down on your phone,
Yes.
but you're on your camera. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, yeah.
Where you're on your camera and you're trying to turn the volume of your camera down, of your phone down, and it's taken like 20 shots unexpectedly. So, I'm just saying that
Mm.
might have happened to someone.
Yeah. Oh.
I've done it plenty of times.
Confession time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so another one that we can ask ourselves whether we need to keep it, or at least, how many do we need to keep, is scenery shots.
Yes.
Um, that's something I would struggle with because I do take quite a few scenery shots or flowers and stuff on walks. Um, I don't keep them all, and it does come back to the idea of, okay, so I've got these 15 photos from that walk.
Yeah.
What do I need them for? Um,
Yeah.
will one or two maybe end in a yearbook, or maybe I want to print a card or something, and the rest pretty much can go. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And they're beautiful. So there's no need to
mm,
delete them. Just,
yeah,
we're not saying just sort of take all these things out unnecessarily.
mm,
I think we're just saying just have some considered thought about what you're going to do with them, and why you would like to,
yeah,
be creative with them, or,
mm,
take a note of where you were. So if you don't have like a GPS
mm,
tracking on your whichever device you've taken the photo with,
hmm,
so that you can look back and say, this is this beautiful shot and this is where I was.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes down to personal preferences. A lot of people, some people might like to take photos of flowers,
Yep.
others they like sunsets or
Yeah.
beaches, or, trees.
Yep.
You might sort of even have a collection of something like that. And that's totally fine.
Yep.
So it's not, as you said, we're not saying don't take scenery shots again
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
future.
Just again,
Yeah.
have that goal in mind as to what it
Mm,
is, that you might do with them
mm,
afterwards.
mm,
And I think, and then again, I think it's a shift in focus of
mm,
realizing, well, this is something I can think of even before I take the photo.
mm.
Otherwise, if you're not going to use it, just
Yeah,
enjoy the scenery at the time,
exactly.
and then that's
Mm,
it. Yeah.
mm,
So it depends. It really does.
mm, mm.
Then we go into food shots. When we were taking some notes down preparing for this episode, I thought, if someone's goal was legacy, we're looking at your whys that you're wanting to leave your legacy behind. Maybe food shots are important. Maybe you're a
Yeah.
brilliant chef and creative with your food. So we're not
Mm,
saying, again, we're not saying get rid of all these things,
yeah.
but just have the purpose.
Have a purpose. I really like that. And it can
Yeah.
be things like, for example, uh, I take a photo probably pretty much every Christmas of our Christmas dinner, which is the
Yeah.
same every year because it's a tradition that we have. But it's sort of, and it actually does also become part of, the photo yearbook.
Yeah.
It's because it's something important. It's a tradition
Yeah.
that we share in our family that has gone through multiple generations.
Mm.
And I find for me, I do want to document that.
Yeah.
But yeah, not everything.
And it's interesting because, talking about things like that too, as a family, we sit down at the table each night and
Mm,
have a meal, and it's just a part of our what we do as a family.
mhm.
And when there's a meal that we all love, which,
Mm.
we've got three kids sitting at the table ranging in all ages. So when you get a winner, I take a photo. I'm like, yes, scored. And so I do, and I favorite it, and I pop
Yes.
it in a little folder
Mhm.
that says, meals to pull out when I really need to.
Oh, I love that.
and and so it may not make it to my family photo collection,
Yeah.
but they're photos that I'm talking about keeping if we're looking at
Yes.
this topic,
Yeah.
and they serve a purpose.
Yes.
So I'm keeping them because I
Yeah.
refer back to them.
You use it as a reference, and it's
Yeah,
also a documentation of your everyday life.
yeah,
You
and
know.
in a photo book, I do
Yeah.
actually have sort of a collage of different funny things, and and
Mm.
and that
Yes.
that has made it in
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
certain times,
Yeah.
because it is a big part of us, raising kids,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
yeah.
And making what you just said, like that, page with fun shots or something like that. That if you allow me to quickly go back to boosts or similar photos, this would also
Yeah.
be a reason to keep some of them because they can make a fun page in an
Yep.
album,
Yep.
with a series of shots. Or if
Mm.
the kids make faces or whatever, it can be anything really. What is important to you? What do
Yeah.
you want to show? So you can add these fun things, but you don't, again, probably no one wants 20 pages like that in a yearbook, but maybe one or two.
Yes,
So being
exactly.
selective and know that purpose. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. And then this last one that we were thinking of, do you want to go through that one?
Yeah, I can.
All
It's
right.
it's not one that happens so much these days. It's about
No, well,
holidays.
not now. Yeah.
Um, when we travel, all of us, we take
Yeah.
tons of photos. And but again, think about it, you know, do you really need 20 shots of that monument, or maybe could you do with two meaningful photos?
Yeah.
Uh, what is it gonna be? Um, yeah, it's just that thinking about even before you take the photo, whether you need it
Mm.
and what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
Mm,
Exactly.
mm,
Exactly. So hopefully that'll help people, I think, to think about really how many photos they need in their photo
mm,
collection or their project or whatever it is that they're doing. And we've got a few best practice tips again for
mhm,
this episode that we can go through. Um, so, to summarize, the first tip that we have, best practice, is to delete or decide as you go.
mm,
So, like we've talked about, have your end goal in mind, and when you're at that monument or your next traveling or with a group of friends or doing something, you've got your phone or your camera out,
Mm,
just think as you go, best practice, great habits to get into. Either
mm,
don't take it, delete the shots you haven't decided to, you know you're not going to keep or look at again because of whatever
mm,
reason, they're fuzzy or their eyes are closed or something like that. Or take those shots along the way thinking, yep, I'm going to do this
mm,
in a creative piece, or they're just really important memories I want to share and keep
mhm.
in my photo hub.
Exactly.
Mm.
And you already sort of touched on the second best practice we'd like to share or tip, is to have that routine for yourself, whatever works for you. Some people, they go through their phone photos every night and they keep only the best and delete the rest. Others do that once a week or once a year. So
Yep.
it's up to you,
Whatever works.
yeah,
Yeah.
it needs to work for you, but we do recommend to have some sort of a routine going. Mm.
Yep. Absolutely.
What's the last one?
And the last one is just even start from today.
Hmm.
Start from today. Don't feel that you need to go and deal with how many photos you need in, retrospect from what you've already got and things like that. Like it is a big issue. We know we talk about these things with the other golden rules as far as creating a hub and sorting and organizing. But really, just even if you say, okay, today's the day that I'm going to put these things in practice.
Hmm.
And even if you don't go from yesterday, just from what you take moving forward. So start
Hmm.
is the tip on that one.
Very good.
Yeah.
So that was it for today.
Yep.
And thank you, as always, for joining us, for being here. And if you've got any feedback or if you'd like to leave us a review, we always appreciate that very much. And if you do have questions, please never be shy. Just get in touch with us and ask you questions, and we will answer to you directly. And we might create the next episode with your
Exactly.
question, because if
Yeah.
you have the question, others might have that
Others will too.
too.
Yes.
So, yes, we'll see you again in 2 weeks. And I'm Chantal from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. Thanks for tuning in and happy photo organizing. Bye for now.
Bye.